So let me tell you, banking itself has changed. When we were young, or your father was young, when they entered, the popular expression used to be called as 3-6-3 banking.
Mm-hmm.
That at 3% you accept your deposit, at 6% you give your loan, then at 3 p.m. having earned, at 3 p.m. you go for golf. That was the typical story of a banker. You no longer have that simple tone, cushy story of a banker. Banking has become much more complicated, and therefore we in NIBM, we try to do a wholesome treatment of the thing of banking. So in fact, people don't realize whatever you call it management, whether it's finance, whether it is marketing, whether it is operations, strategy, everything is relevant for banking.
Alright, hi everyone, welcome on board. In this video, we're going to talk about banking industry. I am here at NIBM Pune और मेरे साथ बहुत ही amazing इंसान बैठे हैं. Hi sir, welcome on board.
Hi, nice to meet you indeed.
I'm really humbled to introduce you, Director of NIBM Pune. He was Professor at IIM Calcutta for nearly 10 years, sir.
That's right.
And also, sir, was ex-advisor to the Executive Director for India at IMF. आपको पता होना चाहिए IMF की अगर आप बैंकिंग इंडस्ट्री के अंदर कदम रखना चाहते हो या इनफैक्ट इंडियन इकोनॉमिक स्टोरी के अंदर IMF का बहुत बड़ा हाथ है.
Indeed.
That's amazing. And he was also ex-director of Department of Economic and Policy Research for entire RBI. Sir, really humbled to have you on board. Sir, let's begin. Today we're going to talk about banking कैसा कर रहा है, finance कैसे कर रहा है, Indian economy कैसे कर रहा है. I'm going to ask you some difficult questions as well, so that these all students can get benefit of it.
So I'm very scared the students are here and they will come to know what really I know and do not know.
They will listen to you and then drop in the comment section. Just to give you a little bit more idea, right now we're not preparing for interview. Some of them are going to go to IIM, your erstwhile, I would say, IIM Calcutta, or join my school as speech in Bombay, or could be your students at NIBM this year. Let's begin, sir. So, how are economic and financial policies made when maybe our ex-governor is in a hand-holding between, or there's a set of bureaucrats who report to these our ministers and then they take a call? How do these things happen?
Okay. First thing one should realize, policy making is a collaborative process. Collaboration within the government, within RBI, within authorities on the one hand, and with the people, what we euphemistically call economic agents.
Yeah.
What do they know? So it's like a two-way process with a constant dialogue and the policies are made.
Okay.
This is the first thing. Second, at a very conceptual level, one can think of three kinds of policies. First is what you call fiscal policy, which is done by Minister of Finance. Then you have monetary policy, which is done by RBI, which concerns us hugely. Then third thing, what you call structural policies.
Mm-hmm.
Structural policies are electricity, roadways, and I would include banking in the structural policies.
Oh, nice.
So banking is different from monetary policy, but interestingly, RBI is a full-service central bank, and therefore what it does, both monetary policy as well as banking policy. And in NIBM, our concern is both banking policy as well as monetary policy.
Excellent. Okay, great. Sir, this is going to be a mini MBA first year finance class today. So we're going to go into details and explain them everything. So let's talk about the banking sector. What should we do with the banking sector? Are we doing good? The stock market is going up. All the stocks are buying. HDFC is doing okay. It's a good buy, people say. We'll talk about stocks later on. But what do you think the growth? Is it on the right track?
Indian banking sector is doing phenomenally well at the right juncture. I mean, as Professor Kaushik Basu has recently said, India is in a sweet spot.
Yeah.
Now, a sweet spot both by design, by action, as well as it's like, you know, in policy making, they say good policy or good luck. This is both good policy and good luck. Why I'm saying, I'll explain why I say both good policy and good luck. In the sense, why good policy? In between, banking sector had a roller coaster dive. It has a huge NPA problem. We have solved the NPA problem. We have done tremendous, phenomenal economic reform in the field of banking institution, in the field of development of digital financial infrastructure, and in solving the problem of NPA. So we are doing very well. At the same time, please understand, stability does not mean staticity.
Does not mean?
Staticity. Stability does not mean absolute complete nirvana.
Oh.
Stability means you can departure from a stable line up and down, but it's not that you were just constant there.
Got it. Got it.
So that's the important thing. There may be departure. You might hear one story about one particular bank. You might have another story of another particular bank. But in general, the system is stable, and we are indebted to both our bankers as well as our regulators for this.
Yeah, there would be some trouble, like Yes Bank was in trouble, and then
it was solved. It was solved.
ICICI Bank again with all those.
In fact, I would say that's very important to realize. We have not seen a bank run.
You have not seen a bank
run. You have not seen a bank failure.
Oh.
We have not experienced. And we have not experienced a bank failure, and the primary reason being we have adopted various other models of resolution.
Okay.
We have not seen bankruptcy of a bank.
Not yet.
Not yet in India. Not yet. And that shows our capability, and the capability of our policymakers.
That's the structural collapse 101. The day it happens, the banking, the first thing what gets under
not necessarily.
Yeah?
Let me tell you why do I say so. And there's an if as well. The reason is, in capitalism, part of a company and death of a company is both imminent.
Okay.
Companies do born, companies do die. Lack of death completely is not necessarily a good outcome. Having said that, please do realize the bankruptcy of a bank is very, very costly. Costly because it has depositors' interest in mind, the students' interest in mind, the household's interest in mind. So therefore, we have to be very, very careful about this.
Right.
And that's how you realize, not only here, the day Lehman Brothers failed in the US, the very next day, Merrill Lynch was rescued. Very next day. So it's like, even in the US, the banking system, a particular bank was rescued. So people are very cagey, very, very careful about failure of a bank.
The first stock which you Google it out, which is the safest stock, is always HDFC Bank. And there will be ICICI Bank also popping. And there are always banking stock in the top 10 stock for sure. Do you think that it's a good advice for a first time financial investor or a student who is 21-year-old?
So let me tell you, I'm what they call an academic financial market specialist and not necessarily a practitioner. Having said that, most of my wealth, whatever I have, they're in safe fixed deposit. I'm not in the stock market.
Really?
So, because I don't understand it. I have read something like what they call random walk, what they call rationality of the market, that there cannot be any abnormal returns in the long run.
Yeah.
So since I don't study so closely, it's very difficult for me to give such advice.
Or are you dodging these questions?
No, I'm not dodging. I'm saying I genuinely, my domain of knowledge does not permeate. It permeates to bank, but it doesn't permeate to bank stocks.
Great. For students, I always advise them, B school ke andar, park some money, whatever you have, like
Absolutely.
rupees.
Absolutely.
You should learn
Absolutely.
how the sentiment is actually affecting your, and जब सब ऐसा आता है तो ध्यान multiple line होता है, right? If there is a test, if you're taking the class, and if they win the test, you're going to give 2,000 rupees. Everyone's going to score more.
So I have an advice for the students on that ground.
Please.
Namely, any stock is very good if it's a long term. If you want to make a fly by night kind of a rich man, then I'm unable to advise you. Stocks historically have been the best performing asset class in the long run, not necessarily the short run. Depends on where to enter and when to exit. With that, you, me, Warren Buffett, nobody knows.
One of my friends says his strategy is enter, never exit.
Okay.
And he says like even if it's a turmoil, 7 years market comes up, 20 years if it seems like bum, everyone will make money in the past. But now the market is like
no, so exactly. So that's what my strategy as well. When I say long run, I entirely say this. Do not get swayed by the temporary sentiment.
Great, yeah. So what do you think about India's financial growth? The GDP is up, and and overall we're a young nation. I was reading a stat, 65% of Indian population is less than 35 years of age. And even right now we're in safe hand, Mr. Modi is doing good. All the politicians, all the cabinet, they're intelligent people right now which was not in the past, like few years back, even in the current government. But I can see like some stalwarts coming in. And definitely the foundations were led by our respectable Manmohan Singh of the world and P. Chidambaram of the world. I personally feel we're on a growth story. Kuch bhi ho raha hai. Japan is getting old, US is getting old, Canada is already old, you name it. Russia, I mean, they're in turmoil right now. And if you talk about even the BRICS nation, rest, China has an, I would not call it illiteracy problem, but English speaking problem. And we're a servicing nation. So, what's your take on the growth story?
So that's a very perceptible comment you make. Let me make a couple of comments here.
Ji.
First, when a baby is born with 2 hands and a stomach. We need to equip those 2 hands to fill up the stomach.
Yeah.
So we have huge potential of growth, but we have therefore the challenge is that of employment. We need to have employment because unless we have gainful employment, we will have inequality issues. But in terms of growth potential at this juncture, I have quoted Rosibus earlier, we are on a sweet spot. We are really doing great, and this is both we are doing great on policy front. I've just mentioned about banking. There are other fields also, the right kind of policies have come up. At the same time, China, apart from the English speaking problem, at this current juncture, the real estate sector of China is doing very badly.
Yeah.
And there was at some point of time, China has this problem of ghost cities.
Yeah.
Means you go city after city and you see, black boxes, black rooms in the apartments. So that's really is bugging China at this juncture, and India has this sweet spot. What they need to do, the challenge is to create number of good jobs so that these people are gainfully employed, the younger generation do not get frustrated. And on that ground, I must say, I'm very optimistic at this current juncture.
Right on the job when unemployment rate is pathetic is the right word.
So therefore, we have to be careful on that front. We need to be doing growth and doing employment at the same time.
So how banking sector is strengthened over a period of time? You are teaching for how many years from now?
I mean, but a few years, at least 15 years now.
And in the banking industry past 14, how much?
Banking industry will be 35.
35 plus years, wow. And I'm a banker's son, sir. We were talking about that. My dad was like 37 years, same bank, similar job. He grew from clerk to the senior manager.
Right. That's a banker story.
Yeah. And that was the job there. Banker matlab shadi karwa do. My dad was like the most eligible person at that time. And how the banking sector is contributing in today's world with the SBI, with banking examination, and people getting into these, I would say, white collar jobs. But down the line, it was like dream job of people. And now the dream job is moving towards maybe a CA or an MBA or whatever, or going abroad. How do you see this changing?
So let me tell you, banking itself has changed. When we were young, or your father was young, when they entered, the popular expression used to be called as 3-6-3 banking.
Mm-hmm.
That at 3%, you accept your deposit, at 6%, you give your loan, then at 3 p.m. having earned, at 3 p.m. you go for golf. That was the typical story of a banker. You no longer have that simple tone, cushy story of a banker. Banking has become much more complicated, and therefore we in NIBM, we try to do a wholesome treatment of the thing of banking. So in fact, people don't realize whatever you call it management, whether it's finance, whether it is marketing, whether it is operations, strategy, everything is relevant for banking.
So, NIBM is running past the whole institution, 50 years plus.
Yes.
I have a question. Nobody knew what NIBM till a couple of years back. I've been teaching for CAT for the past 15 years, and NIBM came to my limelight about 4 or 5 years back. And I would say, I'm in Bombay, sir. And I kept coming to Pune multiple times. Sir, is it like you guys don't believe in marketing or you don't want to be the face?
So let me tell you 3 comments on that.
Okay.
First, this road we are in is known as NIBM road.
Yeah.
But you ask what is NIBM, then nobody says it. What is NIBM?
Yeah.
It's like you tell an auto rickshaw puller saying that I want to go to NIBM, they will ask you NIBM kidhar ka?
Yeah.
So they don't know. One. Second, the favorite color of bankers are grey or black. So banks in general are not very advertisement savvy.
Mm.
And the initial years of our existence, we did not have an MBA or PhD program. We were established in 1969, exactly on the year of nationalization. What the policymakers realized that look, we have now nationalized the banks, we have huge public sector banks, we need to train those bankers. So we were captive, we were just servicing the banking sector. This was a captive clientele. So we were known to the bankers, we are not known to the students and also students.
Yeah.
It's only after quite a number of years that we started with an PGDM program.
Yeah. Which year was that, sir, when we started PhD?
We have started roughly 15 years back.
Okay.
So then, why I'm saying roughly? Because initially it was a 1-year program, then it became a 2-year program.
Okay.
Now we have a 2-year program, and I'm happy to report that it's only last year that AICTE has approved us and given us in the competitive ranking in the 1 to 100.
Oh,
We have now
nice.
entered the AICTE rankings.
Oh,
We're not AICTE ranked division.
Oh.
So we have entered that AICTE ranking, and therefore our syllabus has undergone huge number of changes, and therefore it came.
Great.
But yes, you are right there. We should be doing much well in terms of marketing, and I'm sure I have friends in you, and you are doing some of our jobs easier.
Sir, it's all about marketing. It's not just putting a story for you guys. Are great school. I met my student. Rishi, I was talking with them, and they're amazing people, and they talk highly about the school. But the school comes into the purview of things, and like I tell you, my school, FPJ in Bombay. When people start preparing for CAT, it's only IIM, your ex school, right, sir? And then SPJ starts popping in. And there's the next set of schools like IIM Ghaziabad, IIM Delhi, GIM, which are like nearly all 20, 40 years old schools. They come in the whole gamut of things. And then comes, oh, there's a great school called NIBM Pune, if they want to apply right now.
There's another reason for this. We are specialized institution.
Yeah.
So unless you are interested in banking and finance, you want to come here. People don't only realize that banking means also beyond finance.
Achha.
Banking means technology, banking means marketing, banking means strategy. That's often people don't realize. And they think, hey, these guys must be doing something in some back of the envelope, alpha, beta, gamma, delta calculation, which goes to, essential financial calculations.
I was going to put it another way. Like finance means parity bank aata hai.
Right, but at the same time, banking means so many other things. And as recently it's known, that banking is essentially a technology company under the guise of a bank.
No. That's my next question. So how things changing? Fintech is all over the place. Now Paytm is in trouble recently, but Paytm, we were
that one trouble.
Yeah. But Fintech has changed in India.
Yes.
Right? And normally I'm against COVID, but thanks to COVID, at that time India grew really fast. And I remember the France Prime Minister came to India, and Mr. Modi was trying, showcasing how cool we are when it comes to those vendors. And the highest possible growth, maximum number of transactions happening across the world. You think this fintech growth story is going to be there forever? And what's your take on current growth on fintech?
So first thing is, we don't realize this. Fintech is something where the ideal combination of public and private sector. Two things play a major role in the fintech revolution. One is an institution called National Payment Council of India, NPCI, which is, you may not realize, is a non-profit company.
Oh, nice.
It's a non-profit company giving birth to public good.
Wow.
That when you drove down from Mumbai to Pune, that you had an easy pay that you passed through. You did not have to flash your credit card or any of your cash. It happened because there was a fintech revolution. So it touched people's life from, as you know, from rich to poor, everybody's life. That's one. The other was definitely Aadhaar. The combination of Aadhaar and NPCI, or what earlier called the JAM Trinity, the Jan Dhan Aadhaar Mobile Trinity, they together reached the lowest rate of the society.
True.
Now you have, all had leakage in terms of government transfer. When government gives the Jan Dhan account, there were all sorts of problems. Now we know that it reaches the lowest people, the lowest in that pyramid, directly through their own bank account.
Thanks to Nandan Nilekani, sir.
Absolutely.
This
This Aadhaar and NPCI together, and there are a lot many people who are unnamed in this. RBI itself played a major role in NPCI, in the establishment of NPCI, and still it was not given to any of the big guys in Fintech. In any of this, it continued to become essentially non-profit.
I remember I was in school, sir, SPG in Bombay, 2007, 2008, and Aadhaar was just picking up that time. So the number used to come in 100,000 people got Aadhaar, 200,000 people, 1 million, 2 million, 3 million. I was like, whoa. And first of all, everybody shut down. Like,
yeah, people were skeptic. People were skeptic. They thought Big Brother watching you types.
Yeah.
But then we have shown that no, your privacy has not been compromised.
Great. So you have worked in RBI, you worked in the head of the institution, which is managing banking. I always have this question about taxpayers. So now less than 5% of the Indians pay tax, right?
Even direct tax.
Direct taxes. So like the income tax maybe. And can this number be increased to like 30%, 40% more?
Of course it can increase, and it has been increasing steadily.
Very
It
slow.
has been very slow because of a large informal economy. You don't realize there's a large informal economy which is not entering in the tax net. So therefore the large informal economy, and they're slowly getting reflected. But I must warn you here, this is not one of my expertise. So I'm talking it purely off the cuff,
Of course,
and like reading a newspaper. This comes into the what I call fiscal policy.
Okay, great.
So I am a banking monetary policy guy.
That's perfect. Great. So let's go back to the RBI days. Sir, explain us what is RBI? Bankers Bank. How powerful is that?
So let me first start with an interesting story. So when I say in RBI days, in some sense, I have personally experienced the evolution of the Indian economy. In 1991, when India hypothecated its goal to Bank of England, and India had taken the IMF loan, I was a backroom boy of initial what they call research officer in RBI doing some Excel calculation. Those days it was called Lotus 1, 2, 3.
Oh,
You may I thought
I
about
remember this.
Yes.
Yeah.
This was in 1991. But in 2010, when India acquired large sum of gold from the IMF, India bought. I was in the IMF on behalf of RBI.
Oh, wow.
So in some sense, I see my limited life of an ordinary citizen illustrates the movement of the Indian economy from a guy which was a country which is hypothecating gold, from a guy who is buying 50 tons of gold. These are huge changes.
Super.
What does RBI do? RBI does monetary policy. What does monetary policy do? RBI, you and me don't have an account with RBI.
Yeah.
What do we have? Essentially, banks have an account with the RBI.
Yeah.
So banks go to the RBI to borrow or lend money if they have surplus. In that case, what happens? RBI charges an interest rate. Forget the niceties, forget the complexities. That interest rate at which RBI lends money to the banks is called the repo rate.
Repo rate.
It's like there's a collateral of a government security and other eligible securities. So by increasing the repo rate, RBI can make banks' life difficult and thereby makes you and our housing loan more expensive.
Yeah.
Or by easing it, we can do the reverse. So essentially, RBI controls your and my behavior via banks. One, they do not control directly, and second, more importantly, therefore, they don't control overnight. There are steps in between. Banks have to pass on those benefits, and obviously, any bank will be very quick to pass on the punishment, but they may not be that quick to pass on the benefits.
Alright, sir, this is so amazing, sir. Any parting thoughts to all our listeners? So, ये सब बच्चे हैं सर, 20-21 year old के, कुछ आए अहमदाबाद जाएंगे, कुछ कलकत्ता जाएंगे, कुछ मेरे स्कूल एसपीजे बॉम्बे जाएंगे, कुछ आपके पास पढ़ रहे होंगे एनआईबीएम के अंदर. What's your parting thoughts to people who are starting their careers as a fresh MBA students?
So I'll tell you how different you guys are from our generation. You guys are more truthful. Our generation, when we were young, we had a huge baggage of pleasing our seniors, pleasing our parents. You guys, I have seen you are much more truthful. You can say even an unpleasant truth as it is. That's one. That's good thing in you. Bad thing is you have forgotten reading habits. You have very short attention span, and you have completely forgotten how to write a full sentence which means a subject and a predicate, not necessarily with a bullet point. So to which I would say learn how to write a sentence to begin with, then a paragraph, and perhaps then one day another.
क्या बात. इसलिए इस वीडियो को हम रील्स फॉरवर्ड डालेंगे because it's going to be 1 minute reel, not a full throttle video because इनका attention span कम हो गया. But overall, sir, you feel the students coming good, the quality going up.
Absolutely.
The kids are like becoming bigger and bigger. They are the nation's.
Absolutely. Because you should in a knowledge space, you should make a distinction between information and knowledge. Now information is so freely available, just you have to Google it. So therefore they have less importance on information. They should learn the concept. They should be really knowledgeable and not necessarily information gathering. Because information gathering anyway AI is going to do, and they are going to take those things.
Alright, this is so amazing. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If yes, do it with the like button and say thank you to sir. Sir, I'm really humbled to have you involved. It was a pleasure meeting you, sir. It was great.
So pleasure is mine. Pleasure is mine. Great.
Thanks.
Great. Thank you very much.
People who are listening to the video, if you are joining NIBM or planning to join the school, either drop in a comment. यहाँ किसी का interview scheduled up है, यहाँ आने वाला है, ये interview दे के आयो, मुझे comment करके बताइए कि how was the interview, or if any question you guys have regarding banking, NIBM, I'll be more than happy to reply to your comments. See you in the comment section. Do the like button. Take care, guys. Bye bye. Thanks, sir. Thanks once.
Thanks a lot.